Google just finished their Google I/O event, and of course, it was all about AI. And it turns out they had some pretty cool things to launch as well, including essentially what OpenAI launched yesterday with Her. They had a multimodal model that you can have a conversation with that felt incredibly personal and incredibly real. So we're going to watch the most important parts of the Google I/O event together, and I'm going to give my thoughts on it. So let's go. So the first thing that they're going to be talking about is Gemini, and they are putting Gemini in everything. And I remember just a couple months ago, they made a lot of these similar announcements about Gemini being in Google Docs and Sheets and Gmail and workspaces in general, but now they're kind of doubling down or maybe just saying the same thing again. But I feel like I've heard a lot of this already. But still, let's go over some of it, because what makes Gemini stand out is its context window with 1 million tokens while still maintaining incredible quality. And today, they're going to be announcing 2 million token context windows, which is absolutely insane. So let's watch a little bit. All right, so first, it's built to be natively multimodal. Let's hear what Sundar has to say. About that.
A model built to be natively multimodal from the very beginning that could reason across text, images, video, code, and more. It's a big step in turning any input into any output. We introduced Gemini 1.5 Pro, delivering a big breakthrough in long context. It can run 1 million tokens in production consistently, more than any other large-scale foundation model yet. The most exciting transformations with Gemini has been in Google Search.
All right, so now he's going to give a few examples of how they've been using Gemini in Google Search, and they're going to be expanding that usage even more because they have to protect their golden goose, and that is search. And so they're trying to layer in AI into every aspect of search. And understandably so. OpenAI is catching up to them. And it was rumored that yesterday OpenAI was going to announce a search product, but they didn't. They announced that Her product. But I would be very surprised if OpenAI weren't working on a search product.
People are using it to search in entirely new ways and asking new types of questions, longer and more complex queries, even searching with photos.
All right, I'm going to skip ahead. I usually find the part where they rehash everything that they've previously done pretty boring, so I'm assuming you guys find it boring as well. Let's skip ahead. All right, one of my favorite products of all time, literally of all time, is Google Photos. It is absolutely incredible. I have hundreds of thousands of photos and videos on Google Photos. I use it every day, and I've loved the product for years. And now they are adding AI into Google Photos in a really cool way. So let's watch a little bit about that.
To more than 6 billion photos and videos uploaded every single day. And people love using photos to search across their life. With Gemini, you're making that a whole lot easier. Say you're at a parking station ready to pay, but you can't recall your license plate number. Before, you could search photos for keywords and then scroll through years' worth of photos looking for the right one. Now, you can simply ask photos. It knows the cars that appear often, it triangulates which one is yours, and just tells you the license plate number.
I mean, that's super impressive. This is a very specific use case, but actually one that I have done myself. Not only that, also for my driver's license and for other information that I've had. This is a really, really cool feature because if you think about it, if you have so many photos and videos in Google Photos and you can ask questions about any of those photos, the amount and depth of information from those photos and videos is really tremendous. And this has the potential to be a killer feature.
And Ask Photos can also help you search your memories in a deeper way. For example, you might be reminiscing about your daughter Lucia's early milestones. You can ask Photos, when did Lucia learn to swim? You can even follow up with something more complex. Show me how Lucia's swimming has progressed. Here, Gemini goes beyond a simple search, recognizing different contexts, from doing laps in the pool to snorkeling in the ocean, to the text and dates on her swimming certificates, and Photos packages it up all together in a summary. You can really take it all in and relive amazing memories all over again. We are rolling out Ask Photos this summer with more capabilities to come.
All right, again, really cool feature. So One of my favorite things that Google Photos does for me right now is put together, I guess, like photo books for me, albums. And it puts it together in different ways and it's automatic and it delivers it to me and it's really nice. One example is, hey, here's what you did a year ago. And this is kind of a more dynamic way of doing that. You can basically ask it for anything. And I think it'll be really cool. This is a feature that I will absolutely use. All right, and of course, the 1 million token context window for Gemini is amazing because it really opens up a lot of different use cases that previously weren't possible. The one that comes to mind and the one I'm most excited about is coding, because you could fit a pretty large code base in a 1 million token context window. But now, let me show you, as I mentioned, they're about to talk about 2 million token context windows.
Expanding the context window to 2 million tokens.
Now, another thing I'll mention is I've heard from Google directly that they actually have 10 million token context windows working internally, but they just haven't released it yet. So I can't wait until these context windows become essentially infinite and we don't have to worry about chunking different documents and what we want to put in the prompt versus what we should cut out. All right, now they're going to talk a little bit about Google Gemini in Google Workspace. And I want to mention, this is really why Google has a pretty distinct advantage over OpenAI. And of course, OpenAI has some really cool products. They might have the best model, but the fact that Gemini can actually do things on your behalf, and we're going to see more of that in these demos, that's really the killer feature. The fact that it has access to your emails, to your documents, your presentations, all the information that Google has about you, it could use. So it's hyper personal and actually can accomplish tasks on your behalf.
People are always searching their emails in Gmail. We are working to make it much more powerful with Gemini. Let's look at how. As a parent, you want to know everything that's going on with your child's school. Okay, maybe not everything.
Okay, so I want to point out one thing. Google's presentation is almost 2 hours. It's highly polished, highly scripted, and it feels a little corny at times. And this is a drastic difference from what we saw yesterday from OpenAI, which felt much more warm and personal and off the cuff. And they did everything live in the demo. And I really like that approach. And I'm not as big of a fan in the highly polished, long form, very scripted. Like even that joke was so scripted, it landed so flat. And yeah, I'm just a much bigger fan of the much more informal approach.
Now we can ask Gemini to summarize all recent emails from the school. In the background, it's identifying relevant emails, even analyzing attachments like PDFs. And you get a summary of the key points and action items.
Yeah, this is another great example of why Google has a distinct advantage. They have every single one of my emails, ever. That's hundreds of thousands of emails over decades of usage. And now I can use Gemini to search through them and potentially perform actions on my behalf again. And this is something that I've been looking for a long time. And I can't wait because I'm frequently searching through email and sometimes finding what I want, but sometimes not. So I am really excited about this feature.
Maybe you were traveling this week and you couldn't make the PTA meeting. The recording of the meeting is an hour long. If it's from Google Meet, you can ask Gemini to give you the highlights.
Yeah, again, really cool, saving a lot of time. What would be especially cool is when Google Gemini becomes more proactive, notices you are on a trip, then automatically summarizes the meeting and sends you the notes and asks, hey, do you want to follow up in this way? And that suggestion is based on the context of everything it knows about the meeting, your trip, what you missed, etc.
There's a parents group looking for volunteers. You're free that day. Of course, Gemini can draft a reply. There are countless other examples of how this can make life easier.
And here, I think they went over this really quickly, but it's just, you can type reply saying I want to volunteer for the parents group event. And then the Gemini model is going to draft a reply and could possibly send it as well. But again, I don't want to have to prompt it to write that email. It should figure out what I wanted to write based on everything and then have it drafted for me to just take a quick look at, approve, and send. All right, so here is a somewhat new product. They're giving an update on it. It's called Notebook LM. It allows you to put everything into a single place, documents, PDFs, notes, everything, and then you could ask questions against all of that knowledge, all of those documents. So seems pretty cool. I haven't used it myself yet, but something I want to play around with.
In this notebook, I've been using it with my younger son, and I've added some of his science worksheets, a few slide decks from his teacher, and even an open source textbook full of charts and diagrams. With 1.5 Pro, it instantly creates this notebook guide with a helpful summary and can generate a study guide, an FAQ, or even quizzes. But for my son, Jimmy, he really learns best when he can listen to something. So we've prototyped a new feature with Gemini, and it's called Audio Overviews. Notebook LM is going to take all the materials on the left as input and output them into a lively science discussion personalized for him. Let's take a listen.
So let's dive into physics. What's on deck for today?
Well, we're starting with the basics, force and motion.
Okay.
And that, of course, means we have to talk about Sir Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion.
Ah, yes, the foundation for understanding how objects move in.
All right, so it's pretty cool. I like the idea. I still have to figure out what the use case is for me, and that's always the most important thing. The tech can be cool, but unless it's very applicable to something I need, then it's kind of useless to me. So still cool though. All right, now they're gonna start to talk about agents. And of course, when they said the word agents, my ears perked up. That's something I'm incredibly excited about for the future. Let's see what they have to roll out soon.
One of the opportunities we see with AI agents. Let me take a step back and explain what I mean by that. I think about them as intelligent systems that show reasoning, planning, and memory, are able to think multiple steps ahead, work across software and systems, all to get something done on your behalf, and most importantly, under your supervision. But let me show you the kinds of use cases we are working hard to solve. Let's start with shopping.
It's so annoying when they always go to shopping. Whenever they're giving one of these demos of a really cool potential product or feature, why do they always go to shopping? It's such a boring use case to me. Maybe it's more exciting to you all, but I don't think so. I want to see agents performing tasks, real tasks for things that I need to get done, whether work or real life, not shopping. I don't struggle with getting shopping done. It's just not something that I struggle with.
It's fun to shop for shoes, and a lot less fun to return them when they don't fit. Imagine if Gemini could do all the steps for you, searching your inbox for the receipt, locating the order number from your email, filling out a return form, and even scheduling a pickup.
Yeah, okay, so that part is pretty cool, but still, I don't know, returns. I think they could have come up with a better use case illustrating the power of agents.
Let's take another example that's a bit more complex.
All right, good. I want to see a more complex example.
Say you just moved to Chicago. You can imagine Gemini and Chrome working together to help you do a number of things to get ready, organizing, reasoning, synthesizing on your behalf. For example, you will want to explore the city and find services nearby, from dry cleaners to dog walkers. You'll have to update your new address across dozens of websites.
All right, finding and exploring the city and thinking of things to do, that's fine. That's really basic. Now, updating my address across multiple websites, that's incredible. That is a huge time saver. That is exactly what I would expect AI agents to be able to do. So let's continue watching that.
Gemini can work across these tasks and will prompt you for more information when needed, so you're always in control. That part is really important as we prototype these.
Yeah, that is amazing. That's an amazing use case, something I would be really excited to test out. All right, next, Demis Hassabis, who founded Google DeepMind. He was knighted. This is his first time on the Google I/O stage, so I was pretty excited to hear what he had to say. So let's see what he has to say, and let's see what he's going to introduce.
Please welcome for the first time on the I/O stage, Sir Demis. Sit down.
Thanks, Sundar. It's so great to be here. Ever since I was a kid, playing chess for the England.
All right, I'm going to skip over this a little bit. I just want to see what he has to announce. All right, first, he's going to announce Gemini 1.5 Flash, which is a smaller, really fast, and really cheap version of Gemini. So let's watch a little bit about it.
Flash is a lighter weight model compared to Pro. It's designed to be fast and cost efficient to serve at scale, while still featuring multimodal reasoning capabilities and breakthrough long context. Flash is optimized for tasks where low latency and efficiency matter most. Starting today, you can use 1.5 Flash and 1.5 Pro with up to 1 million tokens in Google AI Studio and Vertex AI. And developers can sign up to try 2 million tokens. And you'll hear a little more about Flash later on from Josh. Today, we have some exciting new progress to share about the future of AI assistants that we're calling Project Astra.
And Project Astra seems to be what Her is from OpenAI, GPT-4o. All right, now I'm going to play a demo video, and it is insanely impressive. This is as impressive as OpenAI's GPT-4o demo yesterday. Now, this is a pre-recorded video, and I know Google got a lot of grief because they put together a video previously that was eventually proven to be highly edited. But they made it clear that in this video, it's not edited, it's one shot, and it's at 1x speed. So let's watch.
Okay, let's do some tests. Tell me when you see something that makes sound.
I see a speaker, which makes sound.
What is that part of the speaker called?
That is the tweeter. It produces high-frequency sounds.
Give me a creative alliteration about these.
Creative crayons color cheerfully. They certainly craft colorful creations.
What does that part of the code do?
This code defines encryption and decryption functions. It seems to use AES-CBC encryption to encode and decode data based on a key and an initialization vector, IV.
That's right. What neighborhood do you think I'm in?
This appears to be the King's Cross area of London. It is known for its railway station and transportation connections.
Do you remember where you saw my glasses?
Yes, I do. Your glasses were on the desk near a red apple.
All right, that's incredible. It really is. Before I play the rest of this video, this is what AGI feels like in my mind. You can ask it anything about anything around you. It can go from analyzing code to looking out at the neighborhood to explaining things on my desk, and everything is seamless and everything is through a very natural, personal voice. Now, this person is putting on glasses, and I think the glasses have cameras in them, and I'm not actually sure what glasses those are. I'm not familiar with them. I have the Meta AI Ray-Ban glasses, which kind of do the same thing, but let's continue and let's watch what it can do now.
What can I add here to make this system faster?
Adding a cache between the server and data.
By the way, does anybody know what these glasses are? Let me know if you do in the comments below. I've not seen them. I don't think Google has any glasses products, but to be honest, I haven't looked. So here we go. Let's keep watching.
Database could improve speed.
What does this remind you of?
Schrodinger's cat.
All right, give me a band name for this duo.
Golden Stripes.
Nice. Thanks, Gemini.
Yeah, really impressive. I would love glasses that did that. The AI Meta glasses are almost there, but the back and forth capability of dialogue is not quite there. All right, now Demis is going to talk about generative art AI and specifically a Sora competitor that looks pretty darn good. So let's take a look. Okay, so first they're announcing Imagine 3, which is a DALL-E competitor. That's fine. We've seen some pretty amazing progress in the generative art space, but to be honest, I'm not as excited about this anymore. I want to see Gen AI video. All right, they also announced generative music, which again, it's just not a personal interest of mine. I want to see the video, so I'm going to skip ahead to that.
Today, I'm excited to announce our newest, most capable generative video model called Veo. Veo creates high-quality 1080p videos from text, image, and video prompts. It can capture the details of your instructions in different visual and cinematic styles, You can prompt for things like aerial shots of a landscape or a time lapse, and further edit your videos using additional prompts. You can use Veo in our new experimental tool called Video FX. We're exploring features like storyboarding and generating longer scenes. Veo gives you unprecedented creative control. Techniques for generating static images have come a long way, but generating video is a different challenge altogether. Not only is it important to understand where an object or subject should be in space, it needs to maintain this consistency over time, just like the car in this video. Veo builds upon years of our pioneering generative video model work, including GQN, Venaki, Walt, Video.
Yeah, that video was really impressive. Let's watch it one more time. This basically mirrors what we've seen with Sora. All of the cars are moving in this generative AI video. Along the way, they are consistent in space. All the objects are moving around, are consistent in space. It looks very real. All right, now they're going to be giving some updates on AI search, which is, again, their bread and butter. I'll skip through most of it, but let's see what they have to say.
We're making AI overviews even more helpful for your most complex questions. For example, let's say you've been trying to get into yoga and Pilates. Finding the right studio can take a lot of research. There's so many factors you need to consider. As you can see here, Google gets to work for you, finding the most relevant information and bringing it together into your AI overview. You get some studios with great ratings and their introductory offers.
So this is cool. This is very cool. I think really complex searches is actually something that I've been going more and more to Llama 3 and to OpenAI's models for. So I think this is Google's attempt to really beef up their search product. All right, next they're going to show off what is called the Gemini sidebar, I think. And it's a pretty cool feature. It is, again, kind of this agentic workflow where you're tasking Gemini to do multiple steps for you, and it actually does it pretty well. So let's take a look at what this demo is.
On the first one, it's got a PDF that's an attachment from a hotel as a receipt, and I see a suggestion in the side panel. Help me organize and track my receipts. Let's click on this prompt. The side panel now will show me more details about what that really means. And as you can see, there's 2 steps here. Step 1. Create a drive folder and put this receipt and 37 others it's found.
This is something I could use right now. When I'm out and I have receipts and I need to track them in a Google Sheet, this is literally the exact use case that I would love.
Step 2, extract the relevant information from those receipts in that folder into a new spreadsheet. Now this sounds useful. Why not? I also have the option to edit these actions or just hit OK. So let's hit OK. Gemini will now complete the 2 steps described above, and this is where it gets even better. Gemini offers you the option to automate this so that this particular workflow is run on all future emails, keeping your drive folder and expense sheet up to date with no effort from you.
Yeah, this is what I want. This is exactly what I want. The agents doing things on my behalf, I have to explain it one time, and then they just do it ongoing forever. This is really cool. This is going to make people so much more productive. All right, now they're going to talk about a virtual teammate. So this is actually AI that you can have on your team to do different tasks. And of course, this is all within the Google Workspaces account.
As you can see, the teammate has his very own account. And we can go ahead and give it a name. We'll do something fun like Chip. Chip's been given a specific job role with a set of descriptions on how to be helpful for the team. You can see that here. And some of the jobs are to monitor.
So one thing I really like about all Google AI products is you could do things like this. You can basically, wherever you're going to define the prompt or the system message, you can invoke references to other things. So here you can invoke a reference to the Project Knox. Maybe that's a Google Doc. Here's a gem. And here's a Google I/O, I don't know, search or something. But basically easily just reference these external documents, external knowledge sources, really easy from any of these info boxes.
Monitor and track projects, we've listed a few out to organize information and provide context, and a few more things. Now that we've configured our virtual teammate, let's go ahead and see Chip in action. To do that, I'll switch us over here to Google Chat. First, when planning for an event like
does anybody use Google Chat? I don't. I use Slack and Teams, and almost every company I've ever interacted with uses one or both of those. I don't know anybody who uses Google Chat.
I/O, we have a ton of chat rooms for various purposes. Luckily for me, Chip is in all of them. To quickly catch up, I might ask a question like, anyone know if our I/O storyboards are approved? Because we've instructed Chip to track this project, Chip searches across all the conversations and knows to respond with an answer. There it is. Simple, but very helpful.
All right, so I want to talk about a couple things real quick. So this is really cool, really useful, but I already mentioned I don't use Google Chat, and I don't know any other business that does. But here's the key. Being able to have access to these different external sources, Google Drive, different documents, presentations, emails, that is such a key capability for Google. Now, that's also why I'm very bullish on open source, because businesses use a variety of different tools, and being locked into one ecosystem is really bad and has a lot of platform risk for that business. So when you build on top of open source and you utilize open source tools, the goal, hopefully, is that you can just plug and play into any service that you want, and it's going to be much more hardened and much more flexible. So that's the hope. That's why I'm very bullish on open source. But open source also has the challenge of how are they going to get all of these different sources of information? If Google's not willing to share it, if Facebook's not willing to share it, etc., they're not going to have access to it. So it's kind of this chicken and egg issue. All right, so those are most of the most interesting announcements. They also talked about how they're adding a bunch of AI into the Google Pixel phones, which it seems a little bit duplicative. They already had a lot of these features, but I want to show the outro where the CEO Sundar comes back on stage. And last year at Google I/O, one of the memes was this supercut of him saying AI like 37 times during the course of Google I/O's event. And it was a supercut and it was really funny and it went viral. And now he kind of addresses it in, I think, a really nice and unique and interesting way. And so let's watch that outro, and then I'll come back and do my own outro.
Before we wrap, I have a feeling that someone out there might be counting how many times we have mentioned AI today. And since the big theme today has been letting Google do the work for you, we went ahead and counted so that you don't have to. That might be a record in how many times someone has said AI. I'm tempted to say it a few more times, but I won't.
All right, so that's it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.